Here it is. This is the studio of Drapery and Fabrication Arts. We have been here in Texas for 2 years. We have built this 30 by 40 foot building due to the fact that Texas has no basements. So kind of in the house was not an option. And in Pennsylvania, I was used to space anyway. So we actually found that it was cheaper to build this building than it was to rent a building. We built the building on my friend's property. Her house is right over here. We stayed with them for 1.5 years. They were very generous when we moved to Texas that we weren't quite ready to know where we wanted to be. So we actually, like I said, built the building on her property. We have an agreement that we will be here for 5 years. We paid for the building. And then in 5 years, we have an option of either renting it still from them or it's all theirs if we're ready to move on. What you just saw is the pan of my main work area. There's another section over here, which is Jeff's, my husband's woodworking area. He actually left the corporate world to join me in this business, and he's a full-time installer now. He also builds the cornices for some workrooms in town and keeps pretty darn busy. We planned high ceilings so that we could have storage above. If you see up top here, that is actually all the storage for Vision, IWCE. I run the construction zone, and that's all the supplies that we use, the tabletops and the tools. And then the panels that you're seeing hanging, those are the window fashion artisan projects. In this corner, I had tucked away all the hardware for the vignettes for Vision. And then some of the smaller cornices are up on these 2 shelves. All of that will also go to Vision. So I'll get all my storage back after January. I'm really big on finding things in a normal store that helps me organize. This actually came from Hobby Lobby, and it's meant to be ketchup and mustard caddy for a picnic such thing, but I keep my bottles of glue and my rulers, scissors, whatever I need that stands upright, and then I can just take this to the table while I'm using it if I need to. Alright, let's look at the machines. This one, I love this machine. I don't use it that often, but it is the walking foot machine. I then have a blind hammer, the Brother electronic machine, and then up in the corner is my serger. Over here is my tacker. Love that this was just a 2-foot table. I was worried that I didn't really have any room for another piece of equipment, but the fact that I could find this on a 2-foot table came in real handy. And then I just keep a folding chair next to it so that when I need to use it, I just pull the chair out, sit down, and I'm ready to tack. And the draper actually lays right here on the table, so it takes all the weight off of it for me. On the sides of the machines, you might notice these. These are just magnetic locker caddies that you'll find at the beginning of school every year. And they will stick, but they kept falling, so they're actually screwed in. And I like to keep a pair of scissors, the tools that you need at that machine, and then I usually keep a pair of spectacle glasses readers in there because my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Another accessory that's not from the sewing industry that I've adapted is this jewelry organizer. I keep all my sewing machine in each individual clear pocket so I can see them, and then on the other side is all the bobbins. Over here is a case. I actually got this. Sam Sloan gave this to me when I bought all of his sewing machines, and he just happened to have a bunch of extra ones. So it was all gray. I had to make it pretty. So I brought it home, and we spray painted all the fronts so that they matched my workroom. And it just keeps all of the extra stuff that I'm not really using every day but needs to be organized. So, shelves for the buckrooms, bins for such, but, grommets, all the grommet setters and grommet cutters are in each individual. And these come out so that I can change it as I need to. The retractable hose is called a Zilla reel, and I can actually pull this down and I can reach pretty much anywhere in my entire workroom with this hose. I've kind of designated this area as my mounting area, so that's why it is right here. But if I needed to get to something across the whole entire workroom, I can take this, and then when I want to get it to go away, it just goes back up. I do not like things on the floor, it drives me nuts, so this is actually my solution. Jeff has the airline piped in from the storage closet over on the other side. That's where, so it comes right over to the air hose. The other cord that you're seeing hanging down, that is an electrical cord. So again, I can plug in my iron and I can take it to any area of the table. Speaking of the tables, Jeff also built these with the extension leaves, and this has been an awesome tool. I can do a 1-width panel. I can then put one leaf up, and I'll show you how we do that in a minute, but then I have a full 1.5 panel. If I leave both extensions down, I can slide these two tables together and get a 2-width panel. Or if I've got a big mambo jumbo, I can put both leaves up and it gets a full 3 widths of drapery across the entire area. So I can table 3 widths at about 144 inches long, totally flat. So it really is wonderful. You ready to see it go up? It's on hinges, and it's a very simple system to operate and build. You just lift the table, and I start in the middle, but there's a 2x4 underneath here, and I just pull that 2x4 out, and then it'll hold that edge. And then I just slide to each end, and it has another support that I just pull out. And there's the 1.5. You'll see on the table, notice a little bit of the color difference. I started out with my tables with the printed canvas from Adaptive, and I had put a layer of foil over top of it to protect it. This is 2 years old, and I did have a large job, and I actually tore the foil on it, and I didn't get an opportunity to put it back on. But this is actually a great protector. Doesn't last a long while, but it certainly does last, protects it. And it also allows the fabric to run smoothly on the table. It's a little bit more of a gliding surface. This is a Z rack from Waywack, and I bought this for the Vision show. What we're going to do is hang all the treatments on the rack, and it'll actually go into the trailer so it can be transferred to Vegas. But I actually have been using it in the workroom. When I do a lot of multiple widths, I'll actually throw them over this one first, and then I can actually wheel it to the machine if I need to. My pinnable wall here, I use this for drafting, swags, patterns, anything I need to do such. One thing you might see different that I haven't seen in a lot of workrooms, Jeff framed it with this aluminum bar, and it actually creates a magnetic surface, so I can stick the magnetic pins up there, and it just makes it handy for that purpose. Above it is my fabric caddy, and I have put just insulation pipe around some of them. If the fabric tends to crease easily, then this foam insulation just gives it a little bit bigger roll. If you're wondering what this item is down here, this is a surprise from Vision. Again, it's another part of a vignette, so you have to come to Vision, January 19th, 20th, and 21st to see what that's going to need to be. Over in this area, I have the hangers, and I had to source out a really nice hanger because I had about 50 pairs of draperies to make at once. This is an actual blanket hanger, and the heavier one with the black rubber on them is a sleeping bag hanger. The sleeping bag hangers I like for the typical lined and interlined draperies. The blanket hanger works great for sheer fabrics. Notice that I am up on a step here. In Texas, we have very long draperies, so I had to put it up pretty high to get them out of the way and they're not dragging on the floor. They came from Nan Hanco, NANHAN.com. It actually stands for National Hanger Company. Here, we'll give you a little sneak peek in this area. Don't tell Jeff I'm going to show you this to you because it's a mess right now. This is where we do all the woodworking for the shop. And he's got some great tools. He's got the workbench over here that he built. We just bought this table saw last week because we needed to do a angled on a piece of plywood. Typical miter saw here on the table. And then he has this panel saw in the back where he can do straight cuts. It's like the big old guy from Home Depot. And he has gotten a lot of cornice work from this because he can actually do really super straight cuts. And then he's got his tools all organized, hanging up here on the pegboard. When Jeff found out that we showed his workroom in that condition, he made me clean it up to show you what it should look like. A few last things. The fabrics you see on the table will be the fabrics I'll be using in the Foundations program for the Workroom channel, where we will be taping rod pocket panels and Roman shades, so stay tuned for that very shortly. And then it's this iron. You might not have ever seen this iron before. We found this at the American Sewing Expo. It's called a Eurosteam, and it's a small steam-generated iron. And you can actually leave it horizontal, but it puts out lots of steam. So you can actually, press the button and it steams, or you can have it on constant steam. And I found this very helpful because if I'm applying something like the Do-Fix tapes, of which it does work with, I can leave it on constant steam. I don't have to touch anything, and I can just go along and apply. So it's new to the market, but right now I'm giving it a very cool thumbs up iron. Lastly, I'd like to share this item. I just received this from the Houston Area Custom Drapery Association Christmas party. I actually had to steal this away from Jillian Wendell. It came from Magnolia House, which for those that watch HGTV, Chip and Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper, she has that store. And one of our members, Michelle Martinez, had just been there. And so she purchased this to be part of the gift. It was this along with this adorable basket of yardstick basket. So I stole that away from Jillian Wendell. I'm quite proud of that. So that's it. That's my workroom. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. I hope to see you in Vegas, or I hope to see you in, where are we going, North Carolina? And you can always find me on the Workroom channel as well if I don't see you in person there. So have a great day.